see that flag? You see how it's moving?
Very busy dog.
We paddleboarded over here, serious current, to go have lunch. It's kind of like we're on a tropical vacation with this music.
That's what it is. It's the music that makes me feel like I'm on vacation.
You are on vacation.
And I am on vacation.
Every store should have this. Boom! Get to use one of these spots today. It's Diane's birthday. So where Kate and I went to lunch today, down at Handy Boat, that's where we went. He is the man that runs the show.
That's correct.
Oh, no.
Yes.
Don't put this on the
We don't really know if he is the man that
I don't
runs
really
the
know
show.
what I do down there.
We say
But
he
I've been
runs
doing
the
it
show.
now for 12 years, and they evidently like it, so.
That's
But
awesome.
I'm
This is Charlie. Okay, so check this out. This is Kate's old bedroom. But now...
Look at the chandelier, Kate's old chandelier.
Now it's a sauna.
Little tire.
Mom, are you going to take the chandelier down?
You can,
That's cool.
do
So you can watch
Netflix.
a movie.
Mhm.
That's very
Nice.
Isn't that great?
You can check my Facebook page from inside the sauna. Doesn't get better than that. We can chat under WeChat. We can tweet.
cool. Now watch out. It's very...
I'm getting ready to celebrate Diane's birthday, and today I wanted to talk something about happiness. And I'll speak more about this in the future, but for a quick point, that I wrote a Facebook post this morning that I will link up so you can see it right here. Well, we had a very interesting comment from someone that said it's nice to have the luxuries of basically the life you've lived. Not everyone can live like that. I don't disagree with that, it's for sure. I grew up in a pretty middle-class household. I never worried about having food on the table. I never worried about not having a house to a roof over my head. That was not something that my life, the way I lived, ever panned out. After college, I went and took a job where I was making $90,000 a year, but I also worked for that $90,000 a year. I was working tons of hours. I was going to school to get my MBA. So I put a lot of work and effort into that time to be able to make that type of money. I went to college. I started interviewing for positions and jobs. So it was a lot of effort that was put into it. I've been in relationships too long. My last relationship before Kate was a great relationship. We had a great time. It just went on a little bit too long. We were kind of going our separate ways. Now she's happily married and I'm happily married. And then I know a lot of people who stay in relationships just because that's like the thing to do. They think that other person's going to change, or they're going to try to change the other person, or they want that. The thing that comes about change, especially in relationships or partnerships, is that the partner has to want to change. It's not just about you having to want to change. It's about that person that you're with. If there's another person involved in the situation, they have to want to change. It's not your responsibility to get them to change. Now let's talk about the luxury and the comments that come with those plays. So we hear comments like this all the time, where, especially in like the comments of Kate's book, oh, it must be nice to have two parents who were doctors. Or we couldn't do this because we don't have two parents who were doctors. And it's just like stupid ass comments, right? It's like, Kate was born into a family of two parents who are doctors. Like, could she do anything about that? It wasn't something that she could control, right? So all of a sudden, it's because of the two parents with doctors that this person reading the book, or for instance, someone reading what I posted today, is unable to create something for themselves because of the way they're looking at other people. What this means is to really pay attention to your own thoughts and emotions. Yesterday in the post about Baby Megawatts number 3, I talked about the mammalian, right? Our feelings are what comes up when something happens like that. If I make a post like that, or I say something, I paid off my student loans, which was $85,000 in debt, you know, so if I make a comment like that or something like that, what comes to mind for you? Like, what goes through your head and starts thinking about this? This was when a thing of jealousy used to happen for me a lot. If somebody was like, oh, I made $1 million in my business this year, I would be a little bit, oh, I want that. You know, I want to make that. I'm a little jealous. Like, I want what they have. I want what they have. But what really changed for me is when I stopped wanting what someone else had and started putting in the effort to grow myself. Now, this means personal development. This means attending conferences, reading tons of books. Up until I was about 26 years old, I didn't pick up a book basically unless I was forced to in high school. And since then I've read over 100 books easily, probably 200 or 300 books. And it's just the fact that I've been just devouring personal development information because I want to grow, because it's something that I wanted to change. It's something that I wanted to do. And there was a very small point where I was completely almost out of money. As Kate and I were traveling around the country in 2011, I had $132,000 in debt, and I had less than $2,000 in my bank account, and I could barely make my payments for all of my credit cards. I deferred student loan payments, I deferred credit card payments. I became a master of moving money around, and I'll explain that more in a further video. So you have to be very careful when you're evaluating someone else that you see, especially on the internet, because there's been 6 years worth of growth that I have put in to get where I am today. How I was able to arrive where I am today, it's freaking work. A lot of late nights, a lot of never working weekends. I stopped partying, I stopped drinking, I stopped hanging out with people that did not support me in my endeavors of where I wanted to go. I stopped doing drugs. Like, it was a complete life change from where I was 6 years ago, let alone 10 years ago. So you have to be really careful when you start evaluating someone else, when really it might be the thing where you have to actually look at your own self.
Mike, are you doing a video?
This is Paul. I am, and you're in it. What happens a lot when it comes to unhappiness or not being happy is that we think, or we judge, or we create stories around other people's situations. So it makes us be like, oh, I'm not able to accomplish that because of so-and-so, so-and-so, right? Is we start creating some bullshit story around it. And what happens is we become very unhappy, or we become jealous, or we become defensive or passive aggressive about our own situation, that we don't look at our own situation and start judging to be like, oh, if I only received this TV deal, or I was only able to go to this school, or I was able to only grow up in this family, right? So it's these excuses that we put in front of ourselves which stop us from actually getting what we want, right? And as I said, that quote earlier today, you have to change these type of things, but you have to want to change these type of things. There's a lot of people in this world that want a number of things better than what they currently have, but there's very few who will actually do it. There's a lot of people who will complain about it, and there's a lot of individuals who will talk about stuff that they want to do differently, but very, very few people will do it. Staying in a job, staying in a relationship, staying in a situation that you want to complain about and not actually change is easy. That's super easy. Every day I can go home and complain about my job sucks. Every day I can complain about my relationship sucks. But what's the hard part is taking the risk to change it. And the risk is where the biggest breakthroughs come through. Taking the chance to go do something else is where the biggest breakthroughs come through. Why? Because you will change yourself. It's just like having a baby. She talked about this as well, giving birth. But as soon as that baby is born, actually before that baby's born, leading up to the 9 months up to that baby being born, like baby Megawatts being born leading up to 9 months, it is a buildup of how our life is going to be completely different, right? It's how everything of who Kate and I are as human beings today, things will change when that baby comes, right? And that's what's a 9-month build-up process for that to happen. And then during that labor, it's also the build-up during the labor, through the contractions, all of that stuff. And then as soon as the baby's born, things are different for the rest of our lives, right? And so I can either live in the world or adapt to the change that's going to take place, because bringing another human being in the world is huge, which is why there's a lot of single parents in this world who don't have a partner to support them because the partner couldn't handle it. And the partner didn't want to show up. And the partner took off. They chose to not be a part of something greater than themselves. And they were unable to handle it. You ever seen yourself? Look at yourself.
What's the first thing I want to
Now.
Looking for adventure. And whatever comes our way.
We supposed to keep going.
God, God, gonna make it happen. Take the world in a loving embrace. Fire all the guns at once and a space.
I like smoking lightning.